How do you triangulate yourself to pain, pleasure, and desire as you are seeking for love, partnership, romance, or just navigating the dating experience as a whole? I also want you to think about this question as you navigate loneliness. If you are deeply entrenched in loneliness in romance, loneliness in love, loneliness in just finding romantic connection. It's very important for us to consistently have conversations about love, have conversations about dating from a place that is not rooted in shame or like skeletons in the closet. Because you need to know what are your values as it relates to love. Going back to the analogy that I made when it comes to love as a garden, what seeds are you planting? The foundational seeds should be rooted in what are your values as it relates to integrity and integrity in being and experiencing love. Integrity as someone expresses their likeness for you. Integrity as someone expresses their love for you, their lust for you. I think it is also very important for us to understand how we make space for partners who are not aligned to our romantic values. We typically only hear this conversation about values when it comes to family dynamics, when it comes to professional or work dynamics, when it comes to academic dynamics, right? You know your academic integrity, but are you clear in your integrity as it relates to love? Going back to this conversation and what we make space for and how we triangulate our space to pain and pleasure, when the person in which you love so much does not love you back, when the person in which you like so much never responds to your text. And so it's this roller coaster of highs and lows where you've been waiting for 7 months for them just to acknowledge you. Because now you're at the intersection of your pleasure, your pain, and your desire. You're desiring for that person. Your desire to be seen romantically as a partner for that person. So we become so hyper-focused that we make excuses for the suffering which we are also causing to ourselves in romance. And as you're navigating dating, as you're navigating loneliness, you need to be aware of those intersections where you are deepening your suffering. Deepening your suffering because your longing and your yearning is just so strong. You have to understand love through the lens of integrity. Going back to love as a constellation, if you were to look in the stars, what would you want the stars to say about your love life and the way that you receive love and the way that you give love? This is why I think community, and communal love is so important. Because when you strip the romance away, you understand the symbiotic relationship that you have as a community member, that I need you in the same capacity that you need me. There's no you without me. And because there is no a lens of lust, lens of yearning, but we are in service to each other, authentic service to each other, you're authentically able to see people, tend to people's needs without this thoughts of who's going to help me. We are all in the ecosystem together. We are all in community together. And I have really understood this due to my role and roles in education, both as a scholar. If y'all don't know, I am a love scholar. I am a doctoral candidate. I do help students get into college. And so I have that dual lens of educator and student. Again, having such a strong community around me through both of my experiences and perspective as student and as educator, I understand the dualism that exists. And so, speaking about that, where are the areas of serendipity in your garden of love, in your constellation of love? I also think it's very hard to find serendipity at the intersections of pleasure, pain, and desire. Because now you're not able to spot the fool's gold. You are not able to spot the lemon. Because if it just has a hint of sweetness, you are going to white knuckle grip to that experience, to that response, even if it is so delayed that it's disrespectful. And so when we're speaking about upholding values, right? When we're speaking about understanding integrity, I think a lot of our brains go off and like, oh, this is so freaking cheesy. Like, the values of community growth, love, care, respect. Like, okay, I get it. That's what this job is about. But I think our like tone deaf to the word value also extends to love, because we're thinking about love and treating dating, treating romance through this lens of a corporate handbook, right? I'm following the rules of trust. I'm following the rules of dating. I did the first date. I bought the dress. I said the right thing. Why am I not receiving what was promised? Why am I not receiving everything that the YouTube video told me? Why? Okay, if I didn't receive on the first date, let me just buy the course. Dating through the lens of being an analytic or an analytical point for someone, right? And so now you're at this like a point of contention that deepens your loneliness, because you're not being in the experience. Love is being, love as an action verb, love as a verb. And so we're more willing to being at the intersection of our pleasure and pain, because we feel it at its depth, and then the pain eclipses what can be a reality. And so now the self-deprecating language starts. And so going on dates, you are now shaming yourself. The language that you use, those jokes aren't landing. Why? Because now you are putting yourself as the butt of the joke. And so that's why I always say, y'all hear me in every single one of these videos, language matters. Why does language matter, Khadijah? Because language is how we connect with others. Language is how we connect in love. And if we understand that language matters, language is a vehicle of connection. The language that people use to you has to have tenderness, has to have kindness. These are things that cannot be a non-negotiable. And I want y'all to be mindful of the things that people try to sell you as like, this is your non-negotiable. Why is none of it wrapped in the idea of love as integrity? Because you understand, and we understand, a collective meaning of kindness that is not wavered. We understand timeliness, the importance of that as a value. Because if you understand timeliness at work, why does that just poof and disappear? When it comes to romance, we understand the importance of consistency. You understand it at school, but you make excuses for it because your desires are so strong. But at what point does your desire start causing you pain? Your desire to be seen, your desire to be heard, the fantasy and the pleasure of what it means to be loved, what it means to just kiss somebody for the first time. You want it so bad that you are willing to put yourself at the intersection of confusion, at the intersection of suffering, even if the suffering is so consistent in terms of they don't want you. And so you have to be able to leave at, I don't want to say at the beginning, but at the onset of misalignment in core values, misalignment in the seeds that you planted in your love garden. Again, when we are understanding love, it is quite simplistic. Now, when we are understanding the different relationship dynamics and different people's backgrounds and how different people pair, love is also like irrational, right? Like when we're thinking about, if I fell in love with you, whomever is watching this video, and I fell in love with you by the way that you stuttered over your words and your quirkiness, I mean, just that description alone is quite irrational, but that is why I love you. That's the simplicity. You don't have to perform for my love. If I'm going to fall in love with you, I fall in love not solely with your essence, but I fall in love with you, understanding who you are. And how long can you keep up that performance in you? And so I want us to take a step back from the conversations of love as something to be evaluated, something to be disseminated, something to be dissected. I want us to understand love through a more simplistic lens, through a less ambiguous lens, through a less complex lens. Let's get back to the foundational seeds on what it means to be loved and what it means to love. Because now we're able to have clarity, and clarity is kindness. You are clear in the experiences, the words being used towards you, on what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel seductive, what makes you feel raunchy, what makes you feel at pleasure, what makes you feel warm, what makes you feel friendly, what makes you feel welcoming to create the space of love. Yes, love and romance and dating can be this grandiose gesture, but what makes a connection stick is quite simplistic, because I saw you, because I heard you, because I was willing to elevate your voice, because I was willing to spend time with you, because I was willing to support. Then you understand that love can't be bought, because that simplicity, that simplicity shows the depth in which you care about me, the depth in which you are willing to love me, to nurture me. And so again, reeling back in these long explanations and evaluations of love, we can do a critical analysis of dating and romance and cross-culturally and social, politically, and compared to the East to the West. We can do that. But no matter where you are, you need to first understand love through the lens of simplicity and understand how you are putting yourself at the intersection of pain, pleasure, and desire. And when are you contributing to your suffering, and understanding when is enough enough?